Welcome to The Writer Reads Short Stories. This piece of speculation is called Ducky. This is part 1 of 3. Brian. In Australia, the bird flu pandemic took 20 years to really hit its stride, and when it did, we almost kept it under control. Fast quarantine action contained 1,000 or so flare-ups caused by the internationally exposed. Suspect bird life was rounded up and eliminated from populated areas, and the residents knew what to look for and what to guard against. And then it all went to hell. Someone brought a duck in. Two someones, my ex-wife, my daughter. Sharon. What a trip! Through the up North Islands, across to Indo, round the archipelago and back. Ducky and Casey loved it, and best of all, no customs. We slipped right by them. It was a great way to celebrate the anniversary of our divorce. Brian. Sharon said she was sorry and that there was no harm done. Ducky was fine, and Casey was happy. Healthy, too, she pointed out. Healthy and happy, two things we actually worked together for. Casey's health and happiness. As for Ducky, well, Ducky had been with us since before the divorce, and Ducky had caused 100 arguments before this, so that was the same as well. And then Ducky got sick, but my wife didn't know. Casey's pretty smart for an 8-year-old. Oh, no, Mama, he's not sneezing. He's just got some fluff stuck to his beak, see? And that isn't a runny nose, Mama. He's just been sticking his beak in puddles. You know he likes that. Casey. Mama, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Brian. By the time Sharon realized what was going on, Ducky was lying, brittle still in his bed box with ants running in and out of his beak, and Casey was hosting a fever that meant the air conditioner had to run in the middle of winter. Sharon was giving her an ice bath when the ambulance got there. Too late, of course, and too late for Casey and Ducky's friends as well. Too late for their families and their families' friends. Too late. Too late for the schools and the suburbs and the passengers who had shared their buses, their trains, their hospitality and their planes. Too late for the streets and the suburbs and all the rest of us. By that stage, there were no more international flights, so at least we were not to blame for the rest of the world. Sharon. I've made mistakes before. Brian was one, but nowhere near as big as this one. This one I made when my daughter wept. For a duck. He's not sick, she cried. Her tears formed streams, rivers, the Amazon or Zambezi. Down the twin continents of her cheeks they tracked. I touched the ridgeline between them, and I let those rivers convince me. I did not destroy it. I did not enact quarantine. And I watched her die, my daughter. She's buried with the duck. Brian. I tried to talk to Sharon, but she was always at Casey's bedside in the children's ward, and then she wasn't. She'd gone. Flitted out of the hospital and into the burning daylit darkness, walking out on me a second time. This time there weren't any outraged creditors, just the husk of our daughter's body. I called Mike and he put a team together. We went looking, in her quarters, 3 hours later. Like the rest of the neighborhood, it was classed as a level 4 biohazard. We wore the full silver suits and had our own oxygen supply. Suddenly, I was glad to be one of the chosen, glad of the panic jab inoculation that meant I wouldn't get sick, that I'd be one of those who watched the world die. Otherwise, this headache might be attributed to something other than stress. Don't worry, I had it checked. So far, I'm clear. Sharon had left a mountain of books, papers, her poetry, what I used to term her useless scribblings. I figured I'd have them all scanned and entered in a decade or two. The house was a shell, without her, Casey, or that blasted duck. Before, whenever I came to visit, there'd be a whoop of joy, and little Casey racing to meet me, duck in tow. I can feel the mask misting up, and my heart is just one big ache. I try for a diversion. No good getting emotional in here. I can't exactly lift the hood to blow my nose or wipe my eyes. And I don't fancy having snot creeping along my upper lip for the next 6 hours or so. Glancing around, I pick up the first thing I see. A notebook. Sharon's latest, as it turns out. The one where she discovered haiku. The first 3-line verse swims into focus as my breathing steadies. Casey and her pet temporarily vanquished. Infectious poems, a raging fever of lines. 575. And that had been before she discovered the 353 pattern. I close the book and vow not to look at anything else until I've scanned it into the computer and don't need to have my head encased in plastic. I know I've had the shots, but departmental policy is, why tempt fate? The verse haunts me, but not like the images I see every day. Once we were a city of the first world. I don't mean the first world that was discovered after this one. I mean the first world. You know, the world of television and technology, satellite dishes and infotech as a taken for granted part of schooling. We were part of the space race, our astronauts and physicists always in demand, even if they had to make their careers before coming home to retire away from the rest of the rat race first worlds. And do you know what ended it for us? One little girl's love for her duck. Love overcomes all, so they say. Love defeats everything. Well, this time it defeated quarantine laws and common sense. This time it might even have defeated the 21st century and dumped us right back, set us on our asses in a quasi-techno middle-age amalgam of what life might have been if the Great Library hadn't burned and Michelangelo's mathematics hadn't been lost. Long live the greatness of love. I stop writing now, at a loss. I try to catch my boss's eye across the desk partition. He comes over. What is it, Brian? The words catch in my throat. Sorry, I don't know if I can do this, Mike. I don't know how to start. It's just so huge, and here's Sharon right in the middle of it, and Casey. There's a reef of silence, its shoal-like edges ripping at my throat. I wait to see if Michael can sail us out of this one, but he sets a hazardous course. It has to be done, he says. We know what brought us down this time. Journals like yours and Sharon's and Casey's will help stop it happening again. Make people aware. He grimaces as he reads over my shoulder. And you've put it well. One little girl's love for her duck. Sharon. And her mother. Don't forget her stupid cow of a mother. It wasn't truly a little girl's love for her duck. It was a mother's love. A mother is responsible for not facing down her little girl's tears and insisting that she knows best. Oh, yes, Brian, didn't I tell you? I can still tap your computer. Sometimes I can still tap your mind. Up there, the satellites don't stop orbiting just because it's all gone to hell down here. Hell, I doubt if they even care. And some of those internet servers are in nuclear-powered cities. One day, though, one day there's going to be a dozen private tempests, a sudden scattering of fiery blooms unfurling below those eyes in space, like pustules erupting so the Earth's skin is left clean. Blemished, but clean. Here and there, cities will die and servers will crash, just like the plant technicians died and crashed, and the water stopped flowing in paths it didn't choose, and the grass grew cracks into fissures, and your world, your whole goddamned world, is going to come tumbling down around your ears. So I hope you can remember to print my verses, my useless scribblings. And I hope you remember to use acid-free paper too. You should know what that is. The paper I used to make my scrapbooks. That sort of paper. You'd better, you bastard.